And then I'm going to plant my vectors. Adrian, go in the hallway and finish it up then. All the corrections will be online after we're done with it. Okay, so from here we have our back wall. We're going to use this line to establish where the wall meets ceiling. Where floor meets wall. And you don't necessarily have to have the other side actually show up on the page, and you'll see why in a moment. Now, in this case, where are we in this room? The door. Which means we are looking like so. Now, because this up here is the back of the room, that means you can just start putting these in from now. So, fireplace. Isn't this a cabinet? Other cabinet. So really, all you have to care about is with this square here. So we use a horizontal makeup, which is essentially a rug. And let's see, this rug doesn't have the design on it, so we're fine there. Now, here's another question. We're looking at everything here. That means everything on this rug must be drawn in some way, shape, or form. But what's over here? Windows. So those take up most of this wall here. So we can actually just get those in real quick. Remember, every window needs a frame. And keep in mind, if you feel like you're going to need a ruler, the ruler's on my desk. And then you can style the windows however you like. Know that they're not all made the same way. Some of y'all have burglar bars, some don't. Some is just a flat plane of glass because it's not meant to be opened. And then from this, I'm going to start on my furniture. So, am I expecting you to draw this couch exactly as you see it? From the get-go. Try to get close to it, but I'm not saying that it must be exact. What is the general shape of a couch, really? Like a rectangle. Rectangular prism. There you go. And because of how this is, because this window actually extends past the couch, we can't get the entire couch on here. What we can do is find a line. I'm going to use, let's see, this is where the wall hits. I'm going to say right here. Yeah, remember you use a different color so you know what exactly you're correcting. And this, I imagine, is like it's right on top of this carpet here, so it's going to take up a lot of space. Now, obviously, we can't just leave it like this because that's on the couch. It's maybe a large rectangular pillow. What you can do, clean up your lines within it, and then we're just going to start shaving off pieces. And then as you start meshing it out, Remember, couches are rounded. Start rounding out some of those lines. Now, if you're going like, huh, my couch is starting to look smaller as it gets further away, that's the point. Okay, we know this couch has how many cushions? 3. 13. Well, how you got 13 from? How long do you think this couch is? So 3 big old cushions, armrest, and then you just put whatever shape you want for these weird star-shaped pillows. I'm not going to require that. And so there's our couch. We have a table here. And the table is right in front of a fireplace, which you put right here. So that one, that's really just an ellipses. Not really a semi-ellipses because you can't see the entire thing. And then we know that we have this little table over here and some easy chairs over there. But look at where our table is. If your table is making almost the edge of your picture plane, guess what? All this, you can't see it. If you have drawn it smaller, then you'll need to make your easy chairs from there. They're circular. These are more like cylinders here. Now remember, shading was optional. I'm not going to bother with too much of shading on something so small, but there will be other times when you will need to establish that shading. So if they don't have at least one piece of furniture in here, let's say, as in something from this carpet, that's an error. They must at least have the couch and the table. If you cannot tell, those are errors. I'm not saying it has to be exact, but if we can't even tell if it's a sofa, then guess what? That's an error. I'll give you a few minutes to get that down. They're going to move on to the last two. Okay, continuing on. The easy ones, which are in the back, look at that. So right now we have a basketball court. So let's establish a back wall. Basketball courts are supposed to be pretty wide, so you don't necessarily have to have a square. A rectangle also works. And honestly, this could even be bigger. So that's what we can do it, or you can just make it a square. Either way, so long as it's a square or a rectangle, it is correct. If they put an oval or a circle, that's an error. Now this was the easiest one because guess what? We have our ceiling. Got our walls. We have our floor. And really all you're drawing in this is the floor. So we have the line that goes right across the center. We have the circle that's in the center. Is it going to look like a circle or something else? What was that? An oval. So we have the line that goes through the center. We have the oval. And because we are still in perspective, we're going to be using nothing but semicircles and ovals. There's a 3-point line. Boom. We established that this is the back of the room, so once again, boom. And if you bother to put in the basket, if they bother to put in the basket, add a +5 because I did not require you to do the basket. So if they put in the basket, put in a +5 there too. That's it. All right, get this down. They'll move on to the last. All right, wrapping up. On to the last one. Now, this one is already in perspective. You're just shifting what? You're just shifting the vanishing point, rather. The angle, overall angle. This one, the vanishing point is dead center. In this case, we're going to have our horizon line lower down because this is where their horizon line was. Vanishing point will be right here. We're just shifting the vanishing point more to the left, and we're shifting the horizon line down. So we're going to have the end of our hallway. This is a longer setup, so we're going to use a rectangle that is more vertically inclined. There's our ceiling. Here's our floor. Here's the other floor. Now in this case, we have really tall doors and some creepy lights. However, I'm not terribly worried about those just yet. What I care about more is that you get the floor down properly, because that is where I saw a lot of mistakes. So, using your horizontal lines, remembering that your lines are going to be closer together, the closer they are to the vanishing point, and then they will start to spread out as they get away from it. There's the horizontals. And we use our vectors to draw in the rest of the tiles. If their tiles are just straight up and down, that's an error. That's a big one. Because I don't even care how many of these squares you get down this just for this test. I care about that you get down the fact that these should be more diagonally inclined. And then the only variation you should have here is the checkerboard pattern. If they did not put in the checkerboard pattern, that's another error. Oh, once you have that, just get some doors down. I believe we have two we can easily see. Because these doors do not reach the very top, we're just going to establish that we're using this vector for the top of our doors. So we have 1, 2, maybe 3. One door. I'm just following that top vector. 2 doors. And 3. And we have maybe 1 we can see on this other side. It's not 3 hallways, 3 doors. Now, though they are a little bit hard to see, well, okay, very hard to see on this print out here. We know that we have a little electrical box next to one of these. The doors don't necessarily have windows, so really you just locate your doorknobs. Remember, shading is optional. I'm just putting these in for the sake of it. And then we have these kind of funky lights over here. Those attach right to the top, so you can just use a vector to put in those lights there. And that is the alarm, so that is perfect timing. So if they don't have the lights, that's an error. All right, once you have this down, count up their errors. tally each of their questions, and then you're going to add those numbers up to make their final grade. If you already made a 70, you're in the clear. You only do test corrections if you feel that you want to get that few extra points. If you failed, you got to do test corrections. And this grade has to go in first. However, if you are worried about eligibility, this test does not affect that. Y'all's grades are done. So long as you're passing from the last assignment, you're good. All right, when we come back tomorrow, we're going to deal with text in perspective, along with a practice assignment for that. And it should probably lead to the next project. Have fun.